This is a poll from YouGov and The Economist, and it's a little hard to see, but basically what we have is reckless youth. Quote, is it ever justified for citizens to resort to violence in order to achieve their political goals? From ages 18 to 39, around 30% of liberals say yes. And among 40 to 59, it's around 15%.
That's crazy.
And just slightly less than 10. Conservatives have gone down. Conservatives have actually de-radicalized. Moderates have radicalized. So moderates and liberals. So it's important to understand how this graph is. 60 plus on the right, 40 to 59 in the middle, and 18 to 39. The younger generation of liberals are extremely violent. And what this means, people need to understand. Here's what's really crazy about the 18 to 39 cohort. 5 years ago, we're talking about 13 to 34, meaning they weren't even polling these people. Younger generations are becoming extremely radicalized. And as the boomers, I was talking to this, I don't know, he's probably 7 years old.
By the way, can I just say one thing? Look at the date on that.
Charlie
got assassinated on the September 10th. This poll was taken
September
the 12th through the 15th.
Yep.
That should send chills down your spine.
And this is why we saw so many people on social media celebrating.
Yeah.
I talked to this old boomer guy, he's probably 70, and he was talking politics. And I said, the problem is we need more of you guys. I was like, the boomers, if you even look here, you can see liberal, conservative, and moderate boomers are less than 10% justification for violence. The younger liberals are who went insane. Younger conservatives are sane. Younger moderates are losing it a little bit. When these 18 to 39-year-olds are the 60 plus, when they're older, this whole graph, imagine where young liberals are going to be. They're going to be 80%. They're going to be saying they want violence. It's not going to be a third of the younger generation. It will be 2/3.
I pray you're wrong. I pray you're wrong, because the escape hatch here as a nation is like what you were saying.
Yep.
We are in a race against the economic clock. We have to prove, and by God's grace, I hope we get 8 more years after Trump's term. But we have to accomplish enough where there is enough of this direct investment in our country. There is enough new jobs. There's enough new innovation where there's a whole boom where people are actually invited in. And I believe that you pair that with self-deportations and deportations, where one of the most promising stats that we've seen is that it's native-born Americans getting the jobs. Yeah. Because that is the social compact, right? Your compact is you are born in this country, and your government's going to care about you more than they do about somebody who wasn't born here, right? That's a central component of it. And if you're a young man that has all this energy, you want to be able to get married. Yeah. Right? One of the most evolved forms of societal technology is monogamy. Get married to one woman, that you're not competing against the alpha guy that gets a harem of 15 and you're left without any eligible women. You get to put your energy into building your family. You get to put your energy into raising your children. You get to put your energy in having a job and building wealth. If you can do those things, you're going to have a very stable society. This is why the West has been so successful, is because we had this ethic of monogamy, and you had people with innovative ideas that created economic opportunity. Those pieces, we are in this race against the clock. If we can do those things, I believe that we will convert the lost. Meaning that you see this 30% of the radical liberals, they're gonna eventually age out. They're gonna lose some of that steam, and they're gonna realize that, hey, buying into the system isn't the worst thing. That's my hope.
I actually will offer up some other optimism in a very dark way, and to offer up a counter to what I was saying about liberals getting crazier. Liberals don't have kids. If they do,
right?
If it's usually not often, but they have them on accident and then terminate them before they come to fruition, which is horrifying.
Oh, that one song you were playing.
Or Brick by Ben Folds about getting his girl. That song is so brutal.
That's so dark.
It's very dark.
I'm so glad you told me about that, because I would sing it just kind of because it's one of those songs you sing in the background.
She's a brick and I'm drowning slowly.
Well, I just figured it was a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was about, she got pregnant and now she's bringing me down with her. I don't want this baby. That's dark.
Yeah,
that's dark.
But hey, we look at these violent liberals and we go, it's very dark, but there won't be very many of them.
Let me add one more piece to that. I agree with you. We're going to outbreed them. I remember Charlie said something up to that effect, a few weeks before it happened, and he got a bunch of people, I can't believe you said that. Well, yeah, it's true, because if you actually look at the fertility rates, I think if you look at conservatives in the West, we're still above replacement. We're like 2.7. but liberals are like 1.6. Something.
Christians tend to be. We've gone over this quite a bit. I think Christians average like 1.8.
I saw a different stat.
The official data from Pew is Catholics and evangelicals are above replacement, 2.2, 2.3.
Yeah.
It's the main lines and like the kind of non-affiliated Christians are dragging it down.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Those aren't even. They don't even count most of the time.
That's like you've just.
There's like the random like exception to the rule, but it's not.
Catholics are all cheering.
Well, we love the Catholics. Here's what I would say though. This is the other piece to that, and it ties into the story that kind of led us in here. You have to punish evil.
Yeah.
Right.
If you do not punish evil, society falls apart. You get more radicalization. You get more vigilantism. You have to punish evil. And when those progressives that think it's really cool to commit violence, well, guess what? When they see their buddy that just got got the death penalty by the state, by the way, not some vigilante. When the state and the power of the sword that's been invested into our representative government, when they actually levy a charge and they follow through on it, and then we all bring the shame that somebody like this deserves upon that, we heap our scorn on these people, it's not nearly as cool.
I'll tell you one thing that really, really bothers me. And there's a challenge in that our memories are actually short. No matter how smart we are, no matter how good at our jobs or clever we think we are, our memories are actually very short. It's fascinating how many people, even on the right, don't remember the severity of the COVID lockdowns. But that being said, I want to make sure, just to grab this context of, it was less than a year ago that a healthcare CEO was assassinated in cold blood, shot in the back in New York. The alleged assassin, Luigi Mangione, has been venerated by the left, and we all warned, Charlie especially, that this is an assassination culture. The left is now seeing that they will get praised when they do this. They're going to view themselves like martyrs or heroes of like these civil rights icons, or like John Brown. Not even a year after this, they kill Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. Because in the mind of these liberals, what's their worst case scenario? They will be celebrated, they will be celebrities, and when they win their revolution, they'll be freed. That's the terrifying reality. We need to make sure that young people think, no way, you can't do that, you will get crushed. Do not do it. That is not the way to get things done. If the problem I see with these people is that the state has been, for the longest time, unwilling to level this force against them. Like I was mentioning with the George Floyd riots, the Ferguson riots, with Baltimore, I mean, it was insane. There were some issues for sure with police, but for the most part, I watch all these videos where either the police are letting these people run around and smash windows, like in DC, or unable to stop them. So these young radicals are told, you will win when you do this. We've got funding. We've got lawyers. You will not spend a day in jail. You will get a badge of honor.
And then they got money for it, and they got compensated for it because they won the lawsuits afterwards.
In D.C.,
New York,
the rioters won over $1 million.
Yep. Same in New York. I think same in St. Louis.
Again,
insane.
It's another thing. I mean, I said it again. It's a feature of this. It's not a bug. It's like, this is the point of the regime, is they're trying to demoralize young people. Like, if you're a young American patriot and you're going to New York City and you just see disorder and disarray and these delinquents getting let off left and right, that tells you that this is your principal city, and it's a total disaster, and it's just embarrassing. You feel embarrassed to be an American.
It's national broken windows.
It's demoralization.
Yeah, but it's worse than that. But this is why, one of the people, when Trump was kind of reasserting control of D.C., that spoke very clearly from a moral standpoint, was Judge Jeanine Pirro, and now she's, I guess, U.S. Attorney. Right?
She's great.
She was like, I don't care if they're 14, they're going in, because these kids are doing unthinkable crimes, but they're 14. Oh, we can't punish them. So what do? They go out and do it some more. They go in these roving gangs. The second you bring the hammer down on this and you actually have a backbone, don't listen to what the left says. Oh, there's end of democracy. They've got one card. The end of democracy, fascism. Well, it didn't work in November. All right. And we've got to have our own confidence, self-confidence, that just doing the common sense thing is ultimately going to pay dividends. And if it doesn't, then we're all screwed.
Well, a line was crossed, and everyone, especially here, knows it. So when they say, "Oh, but our democracy," I'll be like, I kind of thought democracy was threatened when you killed Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, right.
When the guy who was hosting college debates who was willing to allow anyone to have the conversation and come up to him and challenge him and prove him wrong.
But this is why they wanted him so badly to be MAGA. They wanted him to be a Groyper or a MAGA or whatever, because then they could wipe their hands clear and clean of everything that they've said, every nasty smear, every hyperbolic, hyperventilating lie that they have heaped on us, because then they could just, you know what, it was not our fault, it's one of yours. That's just why it was so crucial, this lie, and why the fact that he has not apologized is infuriating. Jimmy Kimmel.
Yep.
Because it's basically just sweeping it under the rug like they never had any complicity in this, and it's just not true. I mean, listen, ABC is free to make its own mistakes, but I hope it's a Pyrrhic victory. I hope people will not watch that show.
I was going to ask you guys, who do you think, or what do you think is responsible for this type of extremism on the left? I mean, I have my own theories, but I think we need to quantify that before we start to unravel and try to fix that particular problem. Because
what do you think?
I think it's a combination of berating, beating down young men and boys in our society, not giving them any opportunities, not giving them any chances, telling them that they're imperfect no matter what, that they're always wrong, that they need to apologize. I think that type of berating, as well as the institutions in our system that have robbed them blind of any kind of economic opportunities, specifically the fractional Federal Reserve banking system. I'm going to keep talking about that because that just pisses me off the way everyone gets robbed here. But I think social media played another role. And I think there was a deliberate effort. Social media has always been in the control. Many people don't believe this, but in the intel agencies. The intel agencies run the algorithms. And I think there's a lot more of this to kind of delve into, specifically when it comes to radicalizing people and moving people that the intel agencies have moved to this particular point, which gives them the perfect pretext to now kind of to clamp down.
It's the one ring, though. I agree with you. I think, I had some activist friends who they always called Facebook Face CIA book. It's the great dossier of every American, building a profile on everyone, and you do it for them. But I think it was the algorithms. I believe that the U.S. government loved the idea of being able to control, through social media, manipulate what people saw and what they believed. There are theories based on the work done by Barrett Brown and Project PM that the Libyan revolution, or whatever you want to call it, was because Western intelligence agencies were using social media to manipulate the people on the ground and manipulate us into believing they supported this foreign intervention. What I think happened, though, is these platforms were trying to maximize attention, and they found very early on, when they switched to algorithmic feeds, that hate and anger generated the most amount of attention and shares. And so this naturally gave rise to videos about police brutality, because you actually even had, Alex Jones, and you had the far left complaining about police brutality because nobody likes injustice. These websites then started, these companies that were using them to make money realized it's not just police brutality, but racism, sexism, all of these isms will give you a boost in the algorithm because people get offended and angry and they want to share it.
Right.
All of a sudden, BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, Mike.com, you name it, all turned into these liberal activist blogs because of how much money they were making. Whenever something on the right would try and rise up, they'd ban it for being hate speech or whatever because they didn't want to lose advertisers who were scared. I think the intelligence agencies did want to utilize these platforms. Clearly that failed them, like the One Ring, because Trump ends up getting elected and then working towards shutting down all of the things they've been trying to do. I think they, and I mean like the uniparty establishment politics in this country, have been crushed, and it's somewhat their own making.
Yeah, well, I think what they're doing, like the ICs and the social media big platforms, these sorts of things, is they're just exploiting the underlying philosophy behind leftism, which is it's anti-hierarchical. And now we have an actual tangible political force that's telling people no. Like, no, you can't beat people up in the streets. No, you can't do this. No, you can't change your gender. No, racism's not the reason that, like, you suck. Like, we have an actual party that's telling people no, and that drives them absolutely wild. And then the ICs, the social media platforms, they're just exploiting that.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.